Diaz, what's going on? It is Sunday morning, right? Yeah, it is. I got Travis here. Of course, G Rising. Sweet Travis. I thought we had JT Hayes. I saw a tweet. I said, oh, we got Sweet Travis today. Let's go. Let's go do this and kick some ass. Team USA, I won a bet already. They lost today to France. So, way to go, commies. You beat us. Well, France isn't commies, are they? G Rising. You and I grew up during the Cold War. Travis wouldn't remember that stuff. You stepped on a nail that was rusty. You probably needed a tetanus shot. Travis looks very relaxed. I don't know what's going on with him. G Rising, how you feeling, buddy?
Man, it was a rough start to the weekend, my friend. I had a couple friends over, and we were having a little small bonfire and got some brush and stuff behind the garage, and I had refinished my garage, so I had some 2x4s, and my dumbass left 4-inch nails sticking straight up. And when I walked around the other side of the garage, I stepped on 3 4-inch nails that went through my flip-flop and through my foot. So, my driveway looked like a murder scene. It was about 11 at night. I had to go to the emergency room till 2 in the morning and listen to all the crackheads that are strapped to beds with the cops and, people coming in there trying to get meds. And, it was quite the evening, I must say. But, after like 4, I only had like 4 or 5 Modelo's in me too. So I was really not buzzed up. And I'm going to tell you what, that shit hurt like hell. It still hurts like hell. Like I could hardly walk. They got me on antibiotics, gave me a tetanus shot, so my arm hurts. Fuck, man, I'm beat up. But, hey, I can sit around and watch baseball all day, so let's go.
Sweet Travis, just Travis. I hope you're having a better weekend than G Rising. Is this accurate, or are you having a shitty weekend too?
No, weekend's going good. You talked about the Cold War. Holden, the Cold War, I wasn't alive for it. The last Cold War I was alive for was me and you when we used to be battling against each other. But we're good buds now, right? And I'm going to say this, since you have me and G Rising here, and you already bet on France today, the commies, right, as you said, why don't you play on the commie site FanDuel? I'm playing a bunch of FanDuel. G Rising is. I mean, just make it a commie day. Get on FanDuel, Holden. We're going to get you those.
Hold on. Why is FanDuel commies? And by the way, Ryan the captain, I think Ryan the captain is a socialist, and he got upset at me for saying that, there was the commies and everything. So settle down there, Ryan the captain. Travis, yes, our Cold War has definitely thawed. We are much like, Australia and Fiji these days. Getting along very well, and it's good to see. We got a big baseball slate today, though. Let's get into this. Before we do so, I got one thing to tell you. Hit the like button. Couple things. Hit the like button. Travis, how many likes do we need? It's a Sunday morning. I feel like we can get quite a few today. People are waking up. Baseball's the only thing going on besides for the Olympics. How many likes we need, pal?
Let's wait to get the people filing in. Ask me in like 20 minutes or so. And also, I got to tell you this, JT Hayes, I told him on the Friday show, I said, you're going to give me the winner from the car. He is listening to us, so he is going to give us his play of the day. So when we pick that number, you're not getting G Rising's mine and Holden. You're getting JT's as well. He is going to send that live from the car. So he will send it to me, and we'll have that winner. So let's get the people to file in, and then we'll pick the number, Holden.
We got RPS Heater 25. You haven't checked out our site yet. RunPureSports.com, RPS Heater 25% off your first month. We got some good weather today for hitting, by the way. Yeah, there's some spit and rain. I'm not too worried about it. Minnesota, 90 degrees, wind blowing out 10 to 12 miles an hour. Boston today, it's going to be a little, this whole series has just been kind of spitting rain. It'll do the same thing, but the winds are blowing out 15 miles to left center. We've got 85 in New York with the Mets, 15 miles an hour out to left center. 85 in Philly, 11 miles an hour out to right center. Straight out in Baltimore, where it's going to be 95 degrees, 92 to 95 degrees, wind blowing straight out, 10 miles an hour. A lot of good stuff weather-wise. I don't know what this does for the pitching today. There are some spots that we can attack. So let's go, G Rising. I was sitting there in the waiting room listening to you and Mangone just BS here, and I heard a lot of you, Darvish. Start with Darvish. He's got a nice matchup today inside Miami too. You Darvish, is he on the radar?
Oh, absolutely. Really, you look at the pitchers. It's kind of top heavy. You start getting that second tier, it can kind of be some murky water. So, I think today I'm probably going to stay up with there's like 4 guys that I think I'd consider. Darvish is definitely one of them, as Mango and I were talking about before the show started. Darvish got a dream matchup here. I mean, he's got the umpire. He's going against the Marlins. Even though he struggled a little bit his last 2 starts, I mean, definitely the matchup's there. My question that I'm debating back and forth, and maybe hopefully by the time we get off the show, I'll have made a decision, but I'm trying to decide if I want to pay down for Sonny Gray and that $1,700 savings from Darvish. Darvish is 10-3, Gray's only 86. So I've been trying to build some lineups to see if that 1,700 is really that important to me to pay down. I just think with some of the great hitting spots today that, I think you're going to have to get the bats right more so than the pitching. So I do think that there's, like I said, 3 or 4 guys up at the top that are viable. And, hopefully one of them just doesn't blow out the others. But, I feel pretty good about it. And I like more bats today than I think that I like pitching.
All right, Mango. What's the plan of attack at pitcher? Talk to me about Darvish too.
Yeah, so FanDuel and DraftKings. FanDuel, I think it's tough. I think me and G Ryzen were talking before, and like Sonny Gray is like 1,700 cheaper over there. So that definitely matters. Some of the price tags are different, right? Sonny Gray is 9.8 on DK, where Darvish is 10.1 or 10.3, and then Noel's in that same range. So there's not a big gap between them at the top. I think between the guys at the top, it's clearly you, Darvish, for me. I get it. He's had his struggles, but it's Miami. That ballpark is absolutely perfect for him. You get Bill Miller as an umpire. And I talk about this a lot. There's certain pitchers in the league that they have their struggles sometimes, right? Where the pitch count can become a disaster. Sometimes they can have some walk problems and just have longer innings. And like, those are guys like McCullers, right? That can happen for him. Valdez was a great example of that because that strike zone was, kind of squeezed a little bit last night. Another guy is Eduardo Rodriguez. That happens to him sometimes. I mean, Yu Darvish, that's happened to him a ton over his career. So I think having this matchup is perfect. You get Miami too. They don't walk a ton, which I look at that at times when there's guys that I know that can struggle. And again, Yu Darvish became a lot better of a pitcher, but with him having his struggles right now, I don't know if some bad habits are going to come up, right? Where he's going to have some walk issues. So I do have some concerns, but I don't want to go to Aaron Nola. I think Nola is a decent tournament option because I think everyone sees, the Braves scored 15 runs. If you're going to tell me you can get Aaron Nola really low owned, like a 5% versus like a Darvish that's maybe at 40, then that would be intriguing in tournaments. Same thing with Sonny Gray. I think that's the same argument that you can make there. But on FanDuel specifically, that $1,700, that could go a long way. Now, Zach Greinke, he gets Texas, and I don't want to go to Zach Greinke that much. On FanDuel, he gets a little bit of a cheaper price tag. DraftKings, it's up. The argument against Greinke, obviously the argument you can make for him is, hey, like it's Texas, they're terrible. But the argument against him is that shoulder issue, right? I don't know how that shoulder really is because the other day they said, he's absolutely fine, no big deal. The pitch count, I believe they pulled him around like 80-ish pitches. I may be wrong, and it might just be something I'm like just forgetting, but I think 80 was where he got pulled, right? He did not go like 100. And the thing is, Greinke is a guy that you don't love his strikeout upside. And if you play someone like Texas, you're playing him because you're like, well, Texas strikes out a ton. And you're also playing because you want to have a lot of outs, right? I want to have him maybe go like the 6 innings, right? And be able to get to that quality start on like a site like FanDuel, but I don't have the confidence in that happening. So that is one of the concerns that I have with Greinke. And I really think I'm trying my best to really jam Yu Darvish. There are some cheaper options that people are talking about on this slate, but I really think Yu Darvish is clearly the cash game option. And as long as I don't feel like I'm on like a chalk stack or anything, I just want to play Darvish and move on. I understand if you want to make a case for like a Sonny Gray. G Ryzen might talk me onto it a little bit. You can have him talk a little more about Gray, but I just love Darvish in this spot.
I am not going to have any Greinke, but in the last 10 games, the Rangers have scored 15 runs. I know batting average doesn't matter. They're hitting $151. Okay. 95 innings without a lead. Like G Ryzen, at least you got to consider a little bit of Greinke. This Texas offense, this Texas team is as bad as you're going to see right now. This is the worst team in baseball. Now, they didn't have Gallo last night, but God, they suck.
They do suck.
Any case for Greinke today.
They do suck. You know what? Just looking on paper, yeah, but, when you dive into it and kind of peel behind a couple layers, I mean, Travis was right. I mean, Greinke went 84 pitches last time. He went 65 to start before that. That's very concerning. So, Yeah, I'm not a fan of Greinke today. I mean, he's not really striking out anybody. The strikeout upside isn't there, and I do think he has a little bit of a leash. So, with that being said, I did consider Greinke, but the more I looked into it, I just thought, no. For me, it's really almost pretty much down to two guys with Darvish and Gray. Darvish has such a really nice matchup, but I think for some GPP, I think Gray against St. Louis, who just struggles against righties, I think he's got the K upside. And for that price tag, I just think it's just very, very interesting. So I haven't really put any lineups to where, like I said, where if I think that 1,700 really matters, then, definitely I might have some Gray, but Darvish is in the best spot.
Okay. So just so everybody knows, G Rising only plays FanDuel. Mangone, you're going to have to be the DraftKings guy today, and then I'll talk about both of them with you. But let's just get your pitcher pool now from top to bottom. Give me the whole pool. I guess we're going to need a couple for DK. G Rising can narrow it down to 2 or 3. How big is the pool in total?
Yeah, there's definitely other guys to discuss. I know the Discord chat has been popping, talking about some of these cheaper guys. You got Gary in there discussing one of his Brave guys, this Toussaint guy. I know he's
Toussaint?
Toussaint. I don't know exactly what to do with him, right? Like, of course, people will see the game log and want to go back to him because they see how well he did in that first start. I just can't really get too excited about him. He's a cheapie, right, though? I know the Phillies, though, it's a 5.5 implied run total. Like, why would I want to go to him? I get it. The Phillies don't have an amazing lineup, but the weather's pretty good there. It's not like the best park, right? Philadelphia, it's not that it's a hitter's park, right? But it's not a pitcher's park by any means, and it's a little hotter there. So I'm not too excited about him. Also, like, Caleb Smith is being talked about, and I think it's because of his strikeout upside, and he's going against the Cubs. But, like, the Cubs have a decent run total, too. So it's one of those weird things on this slate where I think those guys are, like, in the conversation. I think it's mainly because it's if you need a cheap guy, right? If you're jamming in some of these bigger offenses on this slate, you're just trying to find a way to make it work, right? Do you want to really pay $8.5K for Martin Perez or Ross Stripling, or $9K for Trevor Williams? Do you want to pay $8.2 for Tyreek Skubal? Like, that's the issue, I think, on this slate. I don't hate Bailey Ober. I mean, that's Draft Cheats guy. I feel like he has some type of upside, but again, it's 7-8. Why wouldn't I just go all the way down to the basement, right? I think the reason that they're making that argument is they're just kind of saying, hey, let me go to some of these cheaper pitchers because it helps me get in all those bats. Instead of going to the mid-tier, just go all the way to the bottom. And I think you can even make an argument. And listen, I don't think this guy is, that great, but I mean, Daniel Lynch, he gets the Tigers, right? So it's like, hey, like, if you're just going to keep going all the way to the basement, just attack a team that can strike out a ton. I don't think that's the approach to take on DraftKings. You will not see me playing these cheap pitchers. But if you want to go to this route, those are some of the guys being talked about. And it does seem like the best mid-tier option is Caleb Smith because of the strikeout upside he has. It'd be either him or Skubal in the mid-tier for me. And like I said, I'm just not going that cheap, but there are options you can go to.
A couple things in the chat here. Alexis Brown. Good morning, Alexis. You obviously have not gotten laid or hit the workbench in a couple of months. Darvish has been absolutely garbage, but hey, let's not worry about that. Donkeys. Would you like to address that, Mangone? Please do.
Yeah. So, again, you have to deal with the slate that's in front of you, right? And sure, Darvish has not been that great, but who has Darvish struggled against? Well, he struggled against Atlanta. Again, first start back to, I believe it was off the IL, right? I know there's like that weird period where, we had the All-Star break going on, but I believe he was like on the IL for a little bit. And then he struggled against Washington, which, like, Washington does have some good hitters, right? They have Juan Soto. They have Trey Turner. Also, was that game in Washington? Because that could be another thing.
Baltimore.
Where?
Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it because here's the thing. He's playing Miami. Like, you can say, oh, well, Darvish has been bad. Well, if you're going to make that argument, I'm going to go on the flip side. He gets to pitch in Miami. He gets to go against, Miami, don't they suck too? Like, they're terrible. He gets Bill Miller as an umpire, who's an extreme pitcher's umpire, one of the best in the league to have behind the plate. And we saw it last night, an extreme hitter's umpire in Houston. You saw Kyle Gibson getting squeezed. You saw Valdez dealing with it. Yeah, I'm going to go to Yu Darvish here. And again, It's because of the other options we have on this slate in the situations. You have Sonny Gray in one of the best hitting parks on the slate. Now, yes, you get a bunch of righties with St. Louis, and St. Louis I'm not that scared of, but St. Louis has been playing in a humidor all season long in St. Louis, and that's one reason their offense, I think, has been really down this year. Now they get to play in Cincinnati. I'm not saying that Sonny Gray can't go out there and have a big game because he's good at limiting damage and limiting home runs. So I think he's in play, but I think Darvish just gets a perfect spot. Again, Darvish is a guy at times, he can have his struggles, but Miami's not going to walk a ton. They're going to strike out a ton. It's a perfect situation. While all these other spots have good hitting weather, this is in a dome. It just seems like a no-brainer that in cash games, you're playing Darvish. In tournaments, if you want to make a pivot, sure, that's perfectly fine, but I think Darvish is the best option raw points-wise.
Okay, very good. See, that explains it. Alexis, hopefully you remember, if you're not, you like getting called out because you don't hit the workbench, hit RPS Heater 25. Maybe you can win some money when you're a member and you can afford a woman. So RPS Heater 25 is the code. Mangone, how many are we at here? We're at 248 watching, 73 likes. What do we need, pal?
All right. I always talk about this, right? It's a Sunday. Like, this is the loyal and faithful in here, right? So like, I expect this like button to be slammed a bit. I know it's only a Sunday though. I'm going to make it 150 holding because I think more are going to file in. Let's go with 150 because I want to give out JT's play. I want to give out my play. We want to give them all out. And we have 45 minutes to get it done, not 30 minutes. So I have faith that we can get this done.
Very good. I like it. We will give out plays when we get JT's play at 150. That's the bang bang play is what that's probably going to be. RPS Heater 25, 25% off your first payment. G-Rise and anything else pitching wise. You know what I kind of want to do right now? Who are you attacking today? We just talked about pitchers. We don't have to get into stacks yet or anything. Who's the guy? Who's your number one pitcher that you're attacking today?
Well, I mean, there's some bullpen games going on, so that's kind of a tough question.
All right, give me a team then. Give me a bullpen team.
I mean, I'm going to look at attacking probably the, at this point, I like Tampa. I like attacking Tristan McKenzie. I don't think he's very good. I think I might look at that Baltimore-Washington game with that weather. I mean, how can you not look at both sides of that? I'm gonna probably narrow my play today and only play 3 teams with one main team just because I'm chasing that bigger queue on FanDuel. So, only got to beat 100 people. So I think, I'm just gonna play with it here as we're talking, and you guys are gonna help me out. I got some ideas where I want to go, but I like to see my lineup in front of me before because it seems like, once I get it, I think we all play DFS. We're like, that's it. It fits perfect. That's my lineup. So I'm still debating back and forth between Gray and Darvish. And, to kind of go on what you guys were saying, if you don't think Darvish is going to put up, you just got to hope Gray keeps within 10 for that 1,700 savings. And then you can get some bats. And if your bats get, an extra home run or 2, that's definitely the play. But Darvish definitely could put up 60. So I think that's what I'm trying to decide, what I think my chances of Darvish throwing up 20 points more than Gray, which could definitely happen. I think it's probably about 50-50 at this point. So I'd have to decide, which way of that teeter I want to go. But yeah, there's definitely some good bats today. I mean, the weather, there's a lot of options. I really think bats are going to be spread out today more so than normal, but I think pitching is going to be pretty condensed. So hopefully, just like we were talking, Travis was saying he liked some Jays, and we were talking about Rays and Nats, and there's just so many places to go today. So I'm excited to see what you guys have to say, and hopefully we can narrow it down here in the next 45 minutes.
New promo code Alexis Brown 50 for 50% off a sex doll. Okay, who are you attacking today, Travis?
Yeah, so I attacked Taiwan Walker yesterday, which was fun with the Blue Jays. Got the job done. They were low owned. I think they're still going to be low owned again over on FanDuel. Like, they're just pricey. So I'm going to go back to the Jays. I think G. Risen made a good point. DC talked about this on the show. I was like, on Friday, I was like, oh, the Rays made a trade with the Twins for Nelson Cruz. And DC was like, I was like, well, who'd the Twins get, right? Like, you're a Twins fan. Maybe they got some young prospect. Like, says, I don't know. They probably lost the trade because they're trading with the Rays. It's the guy in the fantasy football league that always like wins the trades, and then you never want to make a trade with him. That's who the Rays are. And it's like, if the Rays are shipping out Rich Hill, it's not going to go well for him probably, because Rich Hill's been using that sticky stuff. And if you look at the numbers last 30 days, it is not good for Rich Hill. It is really, really bad. So I think that Rich Hill is someone to attack. That Mets bullpen is really bad. You get 9 innings guaranteed from the Blue Jays. I like the Jays a lot. That's one team that I'll be going towards. And then I agree with G. Risen, those Orioles and those Nationals. They'll definitely be teams that I'm looking at on this slate. Houston's perfectly fine. I don't know if I'll end up getting there today on them. Tampa Bay, I agree with G. Risen on his take on Tampa. They're another offense that I'm going to look into. And, as we discuss, I'm sure that I'll get some stronger takes on that. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now. I'm really thinking about prioritizing the Jays, and getting the Jays with Darvish seems like a tough thing to do on FanDuel. And that's what I'm going to try and do.
I'm going to say one more thing to Alexis Brown. For you to wake up on a Sunday morning and troll a show that's A, for free, that's going to give you winners, and B, to troll a show. I mean, you're talking about my complexion. That's racist, man. That's really, really racist. So I'm going to report you to YouTube. Actually, it's my camera, and it makes my my face a little lighter. But thank you, Alexis. Again, Alexis 50% off your next sex doll. So let's go position by position this morning. All right, that's it. We're done with Alexis. We're all good. Normally we would mute or ban this person, but G. Risen is going to be our producer today. So we're going to let you come in and say whatever you want, my friend.
No, I put a little message. We'd like to thank Alexis's husband for taking her off the market, so none of us got stuck with her. So thank you, Alexis's husband, boyfriend, whoever. We'd really like to thank you, so none of us got stuck with you. So.
I am off the rails today, Garrett. I'm in a great mood, actually, to be honest with you. At the top of the hour, if you haven't joined the bet side, it's going to be me, Joey Work, who always crushes, JJ, my buddy Ryan Spader, JJ's dad, who routinely says that he wishes he would have shot his load out a window instead of having his son. It should be a good show, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's go position by position, guys. We'll hammer this stuff out. Hit the like button. Travis says 150 likes. I think you guys could get to that, no problem. I mean, seriously. Absolutely. So let's go to catcher. Travis, let's go to you, man. Especially on DraftKings. You're going to handle DraftKings today. Is this just part of a stack? Is there a one-off that we can look at? And why is his name Eric Haas?
Yeah. So catcher is not the easiest today, and I'm trying to switch over to get to my stuff, which I'm trying to stall for because I'm only on one screen. But the catcher position, obviously at the top, you can play these guys, right? Salvador Perez, JT Realmuto. I'm not going to argue against it. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. They're certainly in play. I think Gary Sanchez against Martin Perez, right? The lefty, that's definitely a good spot and price tag for him at that 4.3K. That's definitely something that struck to me as a nice little value on this slate. I see that Dalton Varsho is in the one hole against Trevor Williams. I mean, if you want a catcher that's batting towards the top, that feels like a value. That makes sense. But the guy that I think is my favorite value at catcher on this slate is probably Pedro Severino for Baltimore. I know we still don't have that lineup, but I assume he's going to be in there. So at that 3K price tag, I assume he'll be in that 6, 7, or 8 hole, right? I think he's certainly one of the better options, has the power. We know that it's hot out there in that Baltimore park, and I think this is going to be a really, really good spot for him. So I think Pedro Severino is in a really good home run spot. And again, cheap catcher option. You can win when your catcher gets a 0, right? I mean, it's one of those things where JT Hayes the other day, he had a nice little team and it did pretty well, right? I think he had the catcher for the Blue Jays on his Blue Jays and Rays stack where he won 8K yesterday. And you can still win with that, right? I saw Kevin Biggio was on some winning teams who had 3 fantasy points yesterday, because if you punt the position, that sometimes isn't the greatest. You can get the job done even with a 0. So I think Severino has upside and I like going to him.
G. Risen, catcher, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Haas definitely, as you said, is probably the top option. I mean, guy's been smashing. Salvador Perez, another guy in the same game you could look at. I do like Travis's call of Severino. Like you said, I'm not sure. Usually Sundays kind of you're not sure who's going to be in the catching spot just because it's Sunday afternoon. But yeah, if he's in there, I definitely like him. And then Like you said, it is pretty tough today. I don't really mind. I don't know. Yeah, Gary Sanchez did make the lineup, so I don't mind him either against Perez. But yeah, Haas is at the top for me.
Yeah. Head to head with G Rising. I would love to see someone go head to head with G Rising. That would be nice today. We'll move on to our next position. We're going to go to first base. And again, it's catcher first base over on FanDuel. G Rising, just pick it up again. Like, what are you doing over at first base this afternoon?
First base, I'm looking at, there's a lot of options, really. I like the lefties for Tampa against Tristan McKenzie. He struggles really bad against lefties. He walks like 20% of lefties as well. So I do like just little G-Man. Choi hit a home run yesterday. He always seems like G-Man when he gets hot. He hits homers in a bunch. So I do like some G-Man. Another guy I'd look at maybe possibly be Joey Votto. I also like Candelario. And then I don't mind Ryan Zimmerman either there against the lefty and John Means. So, but G-Man is hitting in that 2-hole. I think for me, G-Man is my favorite spot.
I love G-Man Choi today. I actually like a Rays stack. Mango, what do you think about a little Rays stack today? I woke up and, the first dummy lineup was the Rays, plugging them in. And I love seeing G-Man after what he's done the last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, G-Man Choi treated me well yesterday. Got that 47 fantasy points. He always has treated me pretty well. And I'm assuming the FanDuel price tag is still strong. Let's see where he's at. Yeah, 2.5K. I mean, on FanDuel, like cash games, you don't want to ignore that. So, and catcher first base eligible, right? So he's someone I think on FanDuel I'll look at. DK, he's a good option. So I'm definitely not ignoring the Rays today. I think the Rays are a really good play. I played Rays and Jays yesterday. And again, I talked to my boy JT, and JT got third place, right? With Rays and Jays. So I might go back to the well on that. Again, I don't think that Cleveland is, very good. That we know what McKenzie is, right? McKenzie is a very boom bust pitcher, right? So if you can catch McKenzie on that bust game and it goes really poorly, he's also a guy they might leave in there a little bit longer, or you might get some bullpen arms, right? And then you're not scared of a lot of these back end bullpens. When you get the blow up game, the bullpens are really, really bad. So I'm perfectly fine with a guy like McKenzie.
Okay, very good. Anybody else you want to go down that list?
Yeah, first base, I guess Vlad Guerrero Jr., obviously. I like him a ton. I'm in on playing him, but I think on FanDuel, I'm going to play him more at third base. Obviously, at the first base position, it's a loaded spot, right? You have Ohtani at 6.4K, right? I mean, he is someone that you can make a case of playing him over Vlad Guerrero Jr. Against a guy like Bailey Ober. We talked about some of these Baltimore guys. Like, I'm not going to sleep on a Trey Mancini. I think Trey Mancini is a really strong play at 5.3. Just the question is, do you want to actually spend that kind of money on him? Or would you rather go to a guy like Ryan Mountcastle at 4.0K, right? I think he is someone that he's a really good option right there, standing next to G-Man Choi. And then I talked about, some of these Nationals bats, and there's some pretty cheap price tags, especially on a guy like Ryan Zimmerman against John Means. I think he's a really strong option if you want to punt the position. You're not obviously going all the way down to 2.2K, but if you want to save salary, Ryan Zimmerman is my favorite option at first base for salary.
Ooh, okay. It seems like we're a couple of times targeting Means. I mean, listen, Zimmerman against the left-hander, always love it, but do we really want to mess with the Nationals against Means? I know you were talking about them too. He's just, I guess he came back. What do you have? The 5 innings and no Ks. So we're just going to stay off of him.
Means has been bad, man. I would not be looking at. He has been. If you look at his last 30-day numbers, they're pretty horrific. So I would not be. Hurt. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking at him really at all. I mean, the start of the year, he got lucky, right? I don't know if he got lucky, right? But it's just he's not the same. So I like to look at last 30 data, right, or recent form. That's super important to me. I mean, we can't have a sample size of 20 years, right? I mean,
one start.
What?
It was one start, right?
I don't think so.
The IL. It's once he had a shitty start.
Let me look. Maybe I misread the numbers.
No, here, I know it. He was on the IL for almost 2 months.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I guess I missed it wrong. So, I guess it is.
No, and that's – I get it. And he just looked like shit against the Rays was the problem. and he gave up a pair of home runs. But you know what? Going back to before the injury, and I think a lot of the issue was the injury. He's given up 2 home runs in each of the last 5 games. So I totally get where you're coming from, Mangone. I get it.
Real quick, we got the Baltimore lineup. So we got Mullins, Mancini, Mountcastle, Stewart, Franco, McKenna, Leba, Valika, and then Wins as the catcher. So no Severino. It's Wins in there. I do not know what his price tag is.
Yeah, a little bummed about that. Okay. Max Scherzer's playing catch today. That's good. So maybe he won't get traded here coming up. Anyways, RPS Heater 25. That is the code. 25% off your first payment. Baseball season, obviously full swing now. We've got football coming up here very, very soon. I can't wait for that. What else we got coming up here? That's about it, right? Football and baseball.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got all the stuff, right? NASCAR, we got MMA. I mean, League of Legends is always going on. Maybe Olympics, right? We have Olympic content, right? We got it. So, we're not charging for the basketball Olympic package. That is not happening. So again, RPS Heater 25 to get 25% off and join the movement.
And again, new promo code Alexis Sexdoll 50 for nothing. We're just going to give that to you. All right, guys, hit the like button. Where are we right now, Mangone? We are at 133 with 326 watching. Just to pwn Alexis, can we get to 200? I mean, Mangone set the bar low at 150. Let's try to get to 200 and make that loser's day. I'd really like to. And Alexis, you know what? If you sign up, we can't use your sex doll promo code, but if you sign up today, 25% off your first payment with RPS Heater 25. G Ryzen, where are we now? Second? Are we second base?
Second base, yes, sir.
Right, let's do it, bro.
Sucking with second base. I saw Izzy, our boy Izzy, in the chat said, "How come I didn't mention Shoop?" Well, I usually look at him as a second baseman, Scope, Shoop, whatever you want to call him. That's like the big debate, right? They call him Scope on the air here, but anyway, I do like him. I like India at second. He's been hitting very well, leading off for the Reds. And then I'm going to bring up another guy. I do like, let me just make sure, Urias for Baltimore, hitting in the 7 spot, but he's not even in the lineup today. So that takes away that idea. And like I said, I like Shoop, India. And really at this point, that's about it as far as guys. I mean, maybe a little Gleyber Torres. I could maybe get on board with. Second base a little weak today, but Shoop definitely is standing out. That guy.
Scope, it's the one. There's 2 guys that pisses me off. You guys mispronounce J Hap. He's been in the league 20 freaking years. J, not J-A-J. And the other one is Scope, like the mouthwash. Can you just get those 2? You can butcher every other name. J Hap, Jonathan Scope. You're in freaking Detroit. You should know that, G Ryzen.
I get it, but the thing is if I get it in my mind, it is what it is at that point, so.
Oh, Alexis is a member? I take everything back that I said about you. It's great. I'm going to take that promo code. But if you're a member, I don't care if you hate us. That's fine. As long as you're a member, you can say almost whatever you want. So Alexis, despite not hitting the workbench, I take everything back that we said about you. Second base, Travis, where are we going here?
Yeah, Alexa says, I'm already a member for Big T and Hoop. The rest of you can kiss my backside. I hope you have a lovely backside, because if I'm kissing it, I want it to be nice. But let's move on over to the second base position.
I'll bite it if it's nice.
Let's go to second base and talk Mr. Brandon Lau. He is definitely someone, if we're talking the Rays, I kind of want to have exposure to. And he definitely disappointed me yesterday. He hurt my feelings, so not super excited about him. But I think he's someone you have to kind of it's baseball, right? You understand that you can have a bad game. And, hey, these guys get 9 at-bats against Cleveland. Or not 9 at-bats, 9 innings, which is kind of nice. Sometimes they get to go around one more time. And Lau got to go around one more time at the end in the 9th, and it helped me out, right? He got on base, then he got an extra run. So he could have done a little better, but, those add up at times. So I think Lau is going to be a good option. India is a really good option there. St. Louis, I'm not scared of. Jonah Ovieda. I don't know if I'm saying that name right, Holden. I don't know if it's an A at the end or an O, but Mr. Jonah, I'm not scared of. I'm not scared of that St. Louis.
On Oviedo.
Johan, whatever his name is. He sucks though. He's one of those guys I've looked up all year. I pull up the numbers, and like it always says like he's got an xFIP of like 5.6, like the ISO against hitters is like 350. I mean, he just gets destroyed every single time. So whatever your name is, you suck. And so does the St. Louis bullpen, right? JT definitely got me on that the St. Louis bullpen is not that good early on in the season. And I think targeting them makes some sense. And again, St. Louis has been playing in St. Louis, and that humidor has been in effect, correct? So now that they're in that Cincinnati ballpark, that is really good for these Cincinnati bats. So don't sleep on that. I know that Cincinnati lineup has not been as great once we've taken Castellanos out of the lineup, but I think that targeting Cincinnati is a good idea on this slate. It just depends on how much ownership they're going to get and how you mix and match them throughout your lineup. So I think that's a good option there at the second base position. Kike Hernandez would make some sense. He's been hitting the ball really well, and Herman's definitely had some struggles against righties recently. So I wouldn't mind it because of what Kike has been doing. And then I know I was talking to JT, and he's talked up the Phillies a little bit to me when he's in the car. He's probably watching now, but I think Segura is certainly in play if you're looking to play a little bit of a Philly stack. So there you go.
Okay, let's go over to you here, G. Rison. Are you targeting Johan Oviedo? And if you are not, where are you going here at the position?
Yeah, I don't see myself really targeting Oviedo here with the Reds. I think there's a few other spots. But, at second base, like I said, Scope is
third base. Really, I should have just said third base. Yeah, by the way, don't have Jose Ramirez in your lineups. He's not playing today. No Jose Ramirez. What are you doing at third, G. Rison?
Well, third base, Chris Bryant's standing out a little bit, even though I'm not really a fan of playing Bryant right now. But
he could get traded, by the way. That's something that could happen like in game. I don't know if obviously the Mets are talking about making a trade. We're not there yet, but it's worth mentioning.
I think you bring up a great point. Does that really factor into your lineup building? Serious question.
I think I'd have to like really like the guy. Like for instance, like Max Scherzer the other day, like of course the spot was really good, but if he was in like a tougher spot, like let's say he was playing like Toronto or like the Dodgers, like I would maybe not target it as long as if the game started later, right? It depends when it happens. But if I really like a guy, I'll make sure that I have the pivot like known in my head, right? This is a guy that could get traded towards this time. Maybe I should have a pivot ready to go just in case it happens right before the game, just like the Nelson Cruz thing. Let's say you leave at lock, it's 1 o'clock, and then the 2 o'clock game starts, and you're out grabbing lunch and like 10, 15 minutes before the game. I just always like to be prepared. So if you know that the rumors are swirling about it, why not just be ready?
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely an advantage of being in our Discord and being a member. Travis saved me the other day with Nelson Cruz. It was 10 minutes before lock, and I get a message from him. Hey man, you got Nelson Cruz in your cores. He just got traded. And if you looked at FanDuel, they still had him in the lineup until after lock. normally they would turn him red or whatever else, and that didn't happen. So that definitely was a good save, and appreciate my buddy there looking out for me. But yeah, that is definitely an advantage of being in our Discord. And by the way, I had a couple people in here asking me where my Modelos. I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, but I stepped on 3 large nails, and I'm on antibiotics and hydrocodone, whatever the hell else they gave me. So maybe I'll have a few Modelos when I want to melt in my chair. But so I wasn't drooling on myself, I figured I had to slow off the Modelos a little bit.
Okay. Alexis Brown, not a member. So please, chat, attack him, and we will continue to give you winners over here. Hit the like button too. We'll get to 200. It'll be absolutely spectacular. Mangone, are you enjoying this, or do I need to focus more on the lineup here?
I'm just laughing because like Alexis says like she wouldn't hit you up if you were the last person on her.
Oh, it's a woman? Alexis is a woman?
Yeah,
okay,
Alexis,
woman.
Yeah.
All right. So she keeps doing that. Okay.
Yeah, but my funny part is you look about 65, like Holden, like listen, we like to give you crap for stuff. One thing I will never give you crap for is you look great for your age.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. No one understands that. Like I was at the beach on Friday, Holden, and someone thought I was 20 years old. I was like, I'll take that. I'm 30.
Yeah, that's terrific, right?
I mean, I'm almost 50. I don't look. I get that all the time. I don't look.
Yeah,
50.
I love that. I look great for 47. I'll say it. I'm in good shape for 47. I just turned 47 last week. 1 week ago today. It's just been It's been a great run for me so far. So Alexis, go fuck yourself. Anyways, where are we? Third base. We just did third base. Mangone, did you get everything out that you needed to get?
No, I probably didn't say too much about third base. One thing I'll mention, I guess, let me ask you Ryzen this question, and then I'll, talk about the other ones. Do you play Vlad at third base a lot on FanDuel? I talk about it all the time, but I think it's like one of my favorite things to do because it's just like third base is not as good as catcher, first base, because you get so many different options, and I think there's so many like low-owned options you can typically put there. So third base has been kind of weak lately, and I put Vlad at third. Do you do that a bunch?
I do. I think sometimes that makes you a little bit different. I don't see Vlad in too many third base spots as a whole when you're looking at lineups. But, yeah, third base has been really weak. I actually won off third base yesterday with my Tampa and Houston stack I had. Third base has just been pretty rough. But, yeah, I mean, I don't mind that at all. And, if you definitely have the savings, in your lineup, if you want to go down to Gray today, maybe that's a reason why you go down to Gray instead of Darvish, to maybe get a guy like Guerrero Jr. in there at third instead of, somebody like, Chris Bryant or anybody. I mean, the extra savings, you could go up to Vlad. I like that idea.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind like going down at third base today. Like, here's the three guys I have in the cash chart right now. I got Rafael Devers, right? I got Eugenio Suarez, which he's been bad, but it is a good spot, and like it's a cheap price. It gets you exposure to the offense. It's fine. Not a lock or anything, but he's one of the ones I'd consider. And then if you want to go cheaper, Josh Harrison and Maikel Franco, right? I think it's a pretty good spot for Franco. And again, you could get a 0 at 2.9, but does that allow you to get other bigger bats throughout your lineup that can carry you over the finish line? It very much could. And I don't love third base today. I think it's a great spot for Devers. If you have the money to spend on him, great. But is that the guy you want to spend 5.4K on? Would you rather spend it on someone else? Would you rather go Devers, or would you rather spend your money on shortstop, where we got Xander Bogaerts at 5K, Bo Bichette at 5.3, Turner at 5.9? That's a seamless transition, Holden, where shortstop is loaded today. So I want to maybe spend down at third base, unless I'm going to Vlad Guerrero Jr. on FanDuel.
Would you consider at shortstop Zach Short? Let's get into this. And I know G. Ryzen loves his Tigers, but here's a guy that's been mashing left-handers this year. He's 3-4 on DraftKings, taking on Lynch from Kansas City. What is he on FanDuel? 2.5? Come on, Zach Short. Maybe you want to pay up at shortstop because of the big boys, Tatis, Bichette, Bogarts, all of them. Turner, Baez, but if you're taking a left-hand turn, is Short on the list? Mangone?
Yep. Oh.
Let's go Mangone. I know you like Short. I'm not worried about it. I want to get Mangone's take here.
I can't like get behind Short. I will say, like, I made fun of Short on a show. It's just like, and it was just a random guy I picked. I was like, shortstop is so loaded. You can't pay down at Short. Like, why would you honestly play Zach Short when you could play all these other guys? And then that day he hit a home run. He's definitely been playing a lot better for sure. If you're on the Tigers, it makes sense, right? I don't think you're going to play Zach Short on a random, like, two-man stack of the Tigers. The reason I could see you getting behind Zach Short is if you're playing those Tiger stacks, right? Maybe you're paying up for a pitcher where you need the salary relief really badly. And like, it's just one of those days where those expensive offenses with these other shortstops aren't going to work. Correct. I think that's a way that it would work. And instead of Zach Short, I'd probably rather go Alcides Escobar, right? Instead, at least on FanDuel, right? At 2.5K. I don't know what his DK price is. It's probably a little bit more expensive because FanDuel doesn't take as long or takes longer to adjust, and DK adjusts a little bit quicker. So yeah, I think I'd rather on FanDuel specifically go Escobar over Short. But the only way I'd be looking at Zach Short is if I was doing a Tiger stack.
Okay. G. Ryzen, apologies for making you wait another minute. Please, Zach Short and the shortstop position.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the Tigers, Zach Short's definitely play. You're right. He's been smashing lefties. The only bad thing, he's down in the 8th spot, but that definitely would make your he's definitely going to be low owned. You could do the wraparound stack. Yeah, just like you're saying. But my favorite play is in play today for me, and that's Trey Turner. Trey Turner is just a beast. I mean, I might even just start my team, and first guy I click in might be Trey Turner. I do like some Nationals. I like Ryan Zimmerman. Yeah, Trey Turner is just the guy, as we all know, I just like to play. So at this point, he'd be my top shortstop on the slate. And then I do like, I don't mind Iglesias either. I think he's going to be low owned if you like some Angels. I think that Minnesota, it's really warm there. I like Walsh. I like some of them bats for the Angels. So if you like the Angels stack, I don't mind Iglesias. He's up in the 5 spot. He's pretty cheap, 2,500. I don't mind him. But like I said, I think it's pretty narrow for me. Probably Trey Turner will even be in my core today.
Ooh, I like it. Rest of the shortstop position, Mangone?
Yeah, I said it at the top. Trey Turner, you gotta like him. He's definitely in play. My only issue I'm having with my lineups, I'm spending my money on the Jays, and when you spend your money on the Jays, it's like, okay, how do I get Trey Turner in there? I just don't, right? So that's one of the problems. So I might just look to fade Trey Turner. Not that I'm doing it intentionally. I think he's a really good option. If you have the money, get him in your lineup. So he's on the cash chart for a reason. He's definitely one of the better national options. But there are other pivots, right? There's Bo Bichette. There's Xander Bogaerts. There's Carlos Correa. Even against the lefty, I know he's looked really bad. Gleyber Torres at 3.6. If you were looking for a cheaper option, I wouldn't hate it, but he has looked terrific. So I don't think I'd be in love with that. I think it's a day that you want to spend up. But when I put guys on the cash chart, Holden, I try to give you options as best as possible, right? I don't think it's a day to spend down at shortstop. But you have that one option to spend down if you'd like. But I think you want to make sure you spend up on one of those guys we talked about, Trey Turner, Bichette, Bogaerts, or even Correa against the lefty.
All right, so RPS Heater 25 before we get to the outfield. 25% off your first payment. Like Mangone said, it's not just baseball right now. It's not just getting you ready for NFL season. It is MMA. The UFC crew has just been crushing it. Golf. I know AP is in the chat here. They've been crushing golf all year long. And if you're already a subscriber, you might want to hit it up. Get Bets is the code. You get bets for free. So the next time you sign up, get the Bets show for free or get bets for free. These guys are amazing. JJ, Joey Work, Keg, the rest of them, Spread, Tyler, Mangone drops in. I drop in. It's just terrific stuff. Get Bets there. And at the top of the hour, Alexis, if you want to come over, before you go fuck yourself, make sure you join our free bet show today, which is going to be absolutely terrific. Okay, outfield G Ryzen. Let's go top tier, mid tier, low tier. Can you spit out a couple of names in each tier?
Sure. I think what you're looking up at the top, you got to consider Soto and Ohtani is a top. Actually, Ohtani isn't even on Outfield, but you got to look at Soto. I like
he is in DK. He is on DK.
Yeah, I get the two sites mixed up, going back and forth, who's on who. But yeah, you got JD. I really like JD. I like Grossman too against Kansas City. I think he might be a guy that is a top level play. I also like Austin Meadows, the lefties, against anybody with Tristan McKenzie, anybody left-handed in that Rays lineup. I think is in a really good spot. And then, you could look at, you got Teoscar had a home run yesterday against Rich Hill. I don't mind that at all either. We got a lot of options for outfield. You could look at, you could even go with Nelson Cruz if you want to look at, the Rays stacks. Just lots of different options today.
All right. Very good. Mangone, let me throw a couple names out here at you. Okay. Looking at the Reds, I don't know if there's that much Reds love, maybe a little Winker on one side, maybe Aristides Aquino from the Reds. Yeah. And I've heard what you guys have had to say about Cincinnati today, but those two guys are popping. George Springer, my goodness. And these are one-offs more than the stacks. Ultimately, when you join RPS on our Up to Lock show, that's where Big T, JSU, DC are often there. We'll say stuff on the free show to give you a nice outline of what's going to happen. But the final draft happens in our premium show, the Up to Lock, the final countdown. I'm there, most days during the week. Our analysts, JSU, all of them, JSU, Big T, the big guys, Mango and G Ryzen.
Except Monday. You're not in there on Mondays.
Huh?
The only day you're not in there is on Mondays.
Mondays. Yeah, but football season's coming up, so I'll be back on Monday soon. Yeah, Alexis will be very happy about that. But where are we going here? Where are we going in the outfield? Because I just see some guys. I don't know how much Springer is going to be owned. I don't know how much the Blue Jays are going to be owned, to be honest with you. But I think the Reds and the Blue Jays have some decent one-off options today.
Yeah, I definitely like the Reds and the Blue Jays today, Holden. I talked about it before. Like the Blue Jays, I definitely don't want to ignore them. They're going to be a team that still stays low owned, right? I get that bad Mets bullpen. So I'm looking at all these outfielders. The only thing is like the Blue Jays are loaded, right? So it's always kind of tough. You got Springer, right? You have Hernandez, you have Grichuk. They're all really good options. And like, I also want to play Vlad Guerrero Jr. I want to play Semien. So I can't just play every outfielder. I know Big T has talked about it on the shows before, right? He said like, hey, a way to just be unique is play every Blue Jay outfielder, and then you don't have to worry about it, right? Like just you have all of them, and then yes, that makes you unique because you're probably not going to have Vlad, right? You're not going to have some of those other guys in the lineup. So I love all those guys. Definitely going to be all over them. I like those Baltimore outfielders, right? Mullins, Mancini, Mountcastle, DJ Stewart. I won't play Ryan McKenna, but I think those other four guys I'll definitely be on. We talked about the Phillies a little bit. I would not argue against Bryce Harper. It seems like a day that Bryce Harper won't really get much ownership, so don't think that's a bad idea. Juan Soto, he's expensive, but another great outfield options if you want to look for a way to make your national stack a bit contrarian. Victor Robles in the 9-hole, right? If you're playing that 5-man nat stack, he's a cheapie that'll help make that work. So that's another guy that I would look at. We'll go over to the.
Let me ask you something real quick about Robles too. He's fucking awful.
Correct.
He's one of the worst hitters in baseball. But no. This is where I think we need to clarify some things, because maybe you're going, I'm never playing Victor Robles. That's never going to happen. So why does that make sense though, to go with one of the worst hitters in baseball? Because it's actually paid off quite a bit for a lot of guys.
Yeah, it pays off because like, listen, like the day that like Billy Hamilton goes for like 40 fantasy points out of nowhere, right? And he's 1% owned, and like Big T had that big day. Like, yeah, like getting that like contrarian part of your stack makes sense. And people are playing the Nationals today. The Nationals are not just going to get completely overlooked against means. I mean, if you look, yes, it's a loaded slate, but Nationals have a 5.25 implied total. Everyone's talking about the wind blowing out. People are going to play Nationals. And again, Robles is someone at the 9-hole that people just might skip. So I think he's definitely someone that you can go to. And he gets that lefty, right? So it's a little bit of a better spot. And that's how you make your stacks contrarian. It's a smart way to build your lineups. So yeah, I'll go with Robles there as one of those guys that I think helps make your national stack contrarian. On the Rays, you get Randy Arozarena, you get Nelson Cruz, you get Austin Meadows, and Brett Phillips, who banged one out yesterday. I mean, don't sleep on him. So that Rays stack, like those outfielders there, they're definitely in play. And then on the Reds, you talked about Winker. Naquin, he is very cheap, a very nice cheap option that you can go to. And then Aristides Aquino, he's definitely in play as well. We talked about those Red Sox. Again, I hate going through all the outfielders, but there's so many to talk about today, right? Domingo Germán, he's not that good. You get JD Martinez, Alex Verdugo. Remember, there's so many outfield options. You get Duran, who's a cheap option, who's a young player coming up. Again, I don't want to list everyone, but like there's just a lot of options. And I'll say this, one of JT's plays of the day, which I don't know if we're going to get there yet. We got the 162, so it looks like we're doing well. One of JT's plays is in the outfield, so I'm going to hold that till when we talk about it.
Ooh, well, I mean, we're on the outfield, so anybody else you want to talk about?
I don't know if you want to go to G Risen for more outfielders first. I don't know if he's got anything else or has anything else.
Anything else you want to throw out there? We did have a question in the chat. Why are we not talking about Houston and Baltimore? Houston, I'm not as worried about, but Baltimore against Paolo Espino in a bullpen day. We're talking about the weather. Everybody on the Nats, fine. Why don't we just go to the Baltimore side?
Yeah, you know what? I was just looking. There's 12 teams with implied totals of north of 5, and there's 11 games. I mean, there's obviously a ton of offense to be had here, all the way across the slate. So, yeah, of course, Houston is in a great spot. I played him yesterday. I mean, I think the spot's actually a little bit better today for him. And you know what? If you look up and down some of these teams that we're talking about stacking, I really like that Houston lineup up and down from 1 through 8 or 9. You get around some of these other teams, like we're talking about Washington, Baltimore. I'm not really a fan of either of the lineups bottom 3 guys. So to me, it just kind of seems like it's a speed bump there. I mean, I like Tampa. I like Houston. I do like Toronto. I like San Diego. I mean, there's so many spots. I just got to try to narrow it down to exactly what I want. But yeah, Houston's in a great spot. I mean, Alvarez, he was my home run call of the day yesterday, came through for me. I mean, Kyle Tucker, I don't mind the lefties there. Correa's been smashing. You got Altuve. Yeah, all these guys are in decent spots. Taylor Hearn has obviously struggled at Houston. You look at their Houston, the last 15 days as a team, it's unbelievable. They've given up 25 home runs in the last 15 days. Their team ERA is north of 7. Their whip is high. They're not striking anybody out. They're walking guys. They're 10, 15 runs, 12 runs higher than everybody else in the last 2 weeks. So obviously they're getting that bullpen sucks. So yeah, I don't mind Houston at all. The only bad thing is, if they get out front, you might not get that 9th inning at bat, because we already know Houston can't score to save their life. So yeah, there's plenty of teams to stack up today, which is why I think the ownership on bats are going to be pretty spread out.
All right, guys, let's get to a couple stacks. We'll get to the plays of the day. I'll remind you one more time, hit the like button if you like what we're doing here. Let's get as close to 200 as possible. I mean, we had 350 watching, 165. That's a hell of a good ratio, to be honest with you. But I'll just say it right now. Tampa Bay is my top stack today. I think the Orioles have got to be in the mix too. Wouldn't hate you if you went with the Red Sox. A lot of East Coast teams that I'm on, I guess. I don't know how many West Coast teams we got today anyway. So Tampa Bay will be number one for me. Mangone, top 2 stacks today.
Oh man, top 2 is tough. So I'm going to say Jays are for sure number 1, right? Like I'm pretty set on playing Jays. I think I'm jamming them into my lineups. My big debate is I don't know who my number 2 is still. I'm really going back and forth. I'll give you the laundry list of them, and then I'm doing my best to narrow it down. Rays is one of them. They're on the list. Nationals and Orioles on the list as well, trying to figure out which one to go there. And then I'd say the Reds. I think that's really the list for me, and I'm playing one lineup on FanDuel. That's my main team. And I think that's really what I'm trying to narrow down is which one to go. I might even do like a 4-2-2 if it fits right because of how expensive my current build is. So that's something I'm kind of debating right now.
Okay. Very good. Anything G Rising as far as stacks go?
Yeah, I like what Mangone said. I really can't say that there's so many options. I feel like there's so many girls to take to the prom tonight. Like today, it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. But yeah, Washington's interesting to me. The Jays are interesting. The Rays are interesting. I do like the Astros. So there's definitely a lot of places. But, what we talked about, Rich Hill, if the Rays are trading Rich Hill, obviously they think he sucks, and that bullpen's terrible. I think Toronto is definitely in play, like Mangone said. I think you're going to get them pretty low owned, and obviously one of the top offenses in baseball. I like that lineup from top to bottom. So I might have to agree with Mangone that I do like the Jays is a top stack.
Yeah, getting a couple of dudes in there. Don't overlook Alejandro Kirk either. Plays of the days, boys. Let's do it. Play of the day. Mr. Travis. Who's it going to be?
All right. So I'll give my play. It's Mr. Teoscar Hernandez. He banged 2 out yesterday. He is a very streaky hitter too, right? So I looked at the pitch types, right, that Rich Hill throws, and with that awful pine tar he doesn't have anymore, like he's just bad. So I'll go with Mr. Teoscar Hernandez as my play of the day. And then I'll give JT's out. And this is a real off the board one, right? So if you have a nice little chalky stack, right, this will be a guy that you can mix and match throughout your lineups. And I think it's a better mini stack. He likes Mr. Joey Gallo in the outfield as his play of the day. Should be low owned too, right, against Zach Greinke. He also likes Kiner Falefa, right, wherever his name is, Isaiah Kiner Falefa. He's another guy he likes. You can mix in there. So that's a nice little Texas mini stack that you can go with that JT is on.
All right, very good. What you got here, Mr. G Rising? Play of the day.
Well, my play of the day, I'm going to go right to that Rays game and stay with the lefties who absolutely smash McKenzie. He should. I mean, he walks 20% of lefties. I like that. I'm going to go with Austin Meadows in the 4 spot, 3,300 on FanDuel. I think he gets another one today.
What do you think of Arozarena in the same game?
I like all the Rays bats. I think G-Man. I actually like 1 through 7. I even like Joey Wendell a little bit too. So 1 through 7 there, I couldn't argue with you. I mean, Diaz probably be the one guy I might remove from that, but I don't even mind Wander. I mean, I like G-Man as we already said. So, but yeah, I'm going with Meadows as my home run call.
All right, very good. All right, boys and ladies. RPS Heater 25, 25% off your first payment. If you like what you saw today, hit the like button. If you don't like what you saw today, hit the like button. That would be wonderful. Travis, we'll catch you during the week. G Rising, feel better, buddy. Get that rusty nail out of your foot. Okay. They already took it out though, right?
Oh yeah, I just got 3 big ass pencil-sized holes in my foot.
All right, I'm going to go over the bet side now. Free show on the bet side. If you follow me at Holden Radio, I'll put the link on there and we can go over on Twitter. So we'll do that. The bet side is coming up. Mangone, thanks for waking up, pal. G Rising, you too. I'm Holden. Get to be a member already. Let's do it. Get on board. All these people in the chat, they're members. They know how much they're winning. I mean, it's just spectacular stuff. All right. Thank you, Steve Anthony. It's a great show. We enjoyed doing it for you. Keep running pure and get us out of here, G Rising.